Okay, so we're ready to start animating the position of our spaceship to have it fly through these caverns. So I'm going to click the stopwatch for position to turn on animation for the position property. Now when I'm animating, it's always a good idea to kind of break the process down so that you can focus on one thing at a time. So you're not getting scattered trying to worry about too many things at once. So first, let's just get our motion path to look the way we want it to look, and then we can always come back and move keyframes in the timeline to adjust the timing of the animation. So to move forward and set our next keyframe, we have to move forward in the timeline. Since we're not worried about timing right now, I find the quickest way just to move the time indicator forward so I can set my next keyframe is to use the shift page down key, which moves the indicator forward in increments of 10 frames. If you just hit the page down key by itself, it'll move your time indicator forward in increments of 1 frame. If you're working on your laptop, your page down key is the function key with the down arrow. So to move forward increments of 10, we'll do function shift down arrow to move the time indicator forward 10 frames. Then I'll pull the little spaceship up to about there. Move forward another 10 frames. Pull the spaceship up here. Basically, we're going to be setting our position keyframes at the peaks and the troughs of the motion through the cavern here. So move forward in your timeline. Position this ship down here. Move forward in the timeline. Position the ship here. So at this point, the ship has to make a choice. Is it going to go take the top cavern or the bottom cavern? So I think I'll have him move through the bottom cavern. Move forward in the timeline. Whoops. Move forward in the timeline again. Set your next keyframe, so on and so forth. And whoops. If you accidentally double click a layer, it's going to open it in a layer window. Just close that window and you'll go back to your comp if you did it on accident. And he has emerged from the caverns. He survived. So we've got our basic motion path blocked out. Now we just have to come back through here and tweak it, because at some points he's crashing into the wall. If we scrub back in the timeline to right here, you can see he's crashing in the wall. Another thing that we need to do before we do that is we want our spaceship to always point in the direction that he's moving. So as he's moving up, we want the nose of the spaceship to tilt up. So if I rotate the spaceship back like that, this is what we want. And then when he comes over here and goes down the other side, we want him to point down. Well, this could be a pretty tedious setting all these rotation keyframes by hand, right? So let's not do that. I'm going to show you a nifty feature in After Effects that will tell the layer to automatically always point in the direction that it's moving. Always point along the motion path. So here's how we do that. Make sure you have your spaceship selected and go up to Layer, Transform, and down at the bottom, Auto Orient. Choose Orient Along Path and hit OK, and check it out. Now our spaceship is pointing along the motion path. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So now where we see him hitting the side of the cavern, we want to adjust the Bezier curves, and these Bezier handles are sometimes hard to find. Just look for the big dot. Oh. Whoops. And it's helpful to often just scrub through your timeline to a point where the ship's out of the way, because we can manipulate keyframes at any point in the timeline. And he's crashing into the wall again there. So you can see the Bezier handle for this keyframe right there. You can see how hard it is to spot sometimes. But once you grab it and move it, it'll be easier. And then I'll just scrub through the timeline to make sure it's not hitting the wall. Kind of bumps his head right there. So let's pull that back like so. That's good. Gets a little low right here. Then runs into the cavern again, so we need to adjust this. That looks better. Again, we gotta so just take a few minutes, go through your timeline and adjust the Bezier handles on your motion path to get your motion path so that the spaceship doesn't crash. Okay, I think that's pretty good.